I never thought I could feel happiness again. But when I would write a good sentence for this book, I was happy. I mean, seriously, happy. And then when I finished a chapter, I would get up and so eager to write, which meant I was eager to get up. It meant I was eager to live. But I didn't think that was possible. Now I do.
Hello, welcome back. This is Andreea Parc.
And Alexa Dumitru.
And this is a live, again, podcast, a podcast where attorneys and other professionals meet to discuss real life issues and how our decisions shaped our journeys. Today's guest is Barbara Schoichet. She's a writer, adventurer, and unapologetic truth teller with a PhD in creative writing from Lancaster University in England. An avid biker who has owned and wrecked several motorcycles. She has logged more than 10,000 miles on the open road, including the nearly 4,000-mile solo journey that inspired her powerful memoir, Don't Think Twice. Blending humor, grit, raw honesty, Barbara invites us into a late-in-life coming-of-age story of loss, resilience, and what it really means to come alive again. Thank you, Barbara, for being here with us. Such a pleasure to have you.
Thanks. I'm really glad to be here. There you go. That's it.
That's the book. So at 50, most people are thinking of slowing down, but what you did, you bought a Harley from two guys named Dave on eBay and set off a cross-country ride. And I would like to ask you to walk us through why at that point in your life that was the moment when you said, yes, this is the perfect idea for me to do this.
Well, I wanted to die, and I couldn't kill myself. That's the raw truth. I had lost my job. I was a head writer, the writer, at Paramount Pictures for their publicity department. I wrote about all of their films. How long ago was that? No, 20 years ago. So yes, 20 years ago I wrote about all of the films that Paramount was doing. Every single one. And it was a great job. I loved it. And then one day, I was 49 at the time. One day, I guess it was about 6 months before my birthday, in December, they called me in and said that we're merging with DreamWorks. And we're going to hire one of their writers to come in and take your job. But we love your work. They kept on emphasizing that so that I couldn't sue them for ageism, which is what it was. Because they brought in like a child to do my job, 25 years old, something like that, maybe 30. And I had to train him. It was just so demeaning. I just had to train this guy and leave. And I was devastated. And during that time, I called everybody I knew, including my girlfriend who was running off with her hairdresser. I had no idea. She left for with her hairdresser a week later. And we had been together for about 6 years. So I was blindsided by this job. I was blindsided by my girlfriend. And then, I'm like a mess. And I get a call at 5 o'clock in the morning, and my sister said, mom just died. And I was blindsided by that. I knew she had pancreatic cancer, but they had given her 6 months, and I was going to fly home and see her. And, people can get over the pancreatic cancer. They're doing it now, and I felt like she could too. But she died. So it was just awful. I lost my job, I lost my girlfriend, I lost my mother. And then I get a knock on the door. Maybe a contractor of the city said that the little building I built in the back was illegal. I had to tear it down. I lost all my income. I lost my job. I lost my mother. I was ready to die. No, that my sister said, I turned 50. My sister says, we're taking you to Las Vegas to celebrate. And I said, go celebrate. I'm not doing anything. I am not celebrating. So they kidnapped me. They kidnapped me and took me to Las Vegas. And they got me my own hotel room at the MGM Grand. And I'm a little drunk because I was drinking all those little bottles in the refrigerator. I'm a little drunk, and I'm standing on the balcony at the MGM Grand. I don't know if you've been to Las Vegas, but if you have, there's a knot of traffic right below on the what do they call it, the strip
Trip.
that goes by all the hotels. And I'm looking at this knot of traffic and thinking, that's my life. That's my life. And I'm ready to like jump off of the but then all of a sudden I saw just a single rider going through all of the traffic. And there's a ponytail in the back. And I thought, oh my God, it's a woman on a motorcycle. And look at her getting through all this traffic. I'm going to learn how to ride a motorcycle, and I'm going to beat this horrible life. So I learned how to ride a motorcycle in 3 days, fell in love with motorcycling. Long story short, I started looking on eBay, found this bike. I had learned how to ride on a 500cc motorcycle. This was a 1200cc motorcycle. It was 3 times the size. It was gigantic, but I just didn't understand that it would be different. So I flew to New York, which is where the bike was. I was living in LA, and I flew to New York, and the 2 guys named Dave met me at the airport in Buffalo, and they wouldn't let me have the bike because they realized I was suicidal. So they kept me there, taught me how to ride. And then they said goodbye, and I took off across the country by myself. And I had told no one except for my niece. That was it. Okay, that's it.
Your journey is extraordinary. And I would like to mention to all of the listeners that would be a great wealth of information for them to buy your book and read it, because it's really, really great writing.
Thank you.
Amazing writing.
I tried to make it funny, only because, well, by then, when I got back, I wrote a memoir for my PhD. And 2 publishers liked it, Random House and Putnam. And they said, take out everything that isn't true, let's make it a memoir. So I did. Anyway, you can't make this shit up, what's in the book. You just can't. You really can't.
Yeah.
2 days. 2 days alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't make any of that up.
Yeah. You're riding at 100 miles per hour. That,
Yes.
to me, I don't ride motorcycles. I only ride cars. And 100, it's already a lot.
Crazy.
I imagine on the motorcycle, it's even more dangerous to ride.
Awful.
And I was thinking and curious to ask you, what was louder in your head, your thoughts or the motorcycle engine?
I couldn't think of anything but holding on. Seriously, that's all I thought about, was holding on long enough to get to 100 miles an hour and then letting it go down. I just wanted to do it every single day to say that I did it, and I did it. But let me tell you, that's all I thought about, was holding on, because the bike is just vibrating. And I went past semis, which if it wasn't a big bike, they push you off the road. And I got pushed off the road when I went by a semi. But this was a big bike, so it held me on. And that's usually when I went 100 miles per hour, when I passed a semi, because I had to go fast to get past them. So I used the 100 miles an hour then. That's all I thought about, staying upright.
When did the dying part disappeared from your mind?
Probably during the Appalachian Mountains, during the Blue Ridge Highway. It was so beautiful. I thought, I can't leave this world. It was just so beautiful. And I was starting to enjoy myself. I had become a biker chick, and I loved it. And then when I got back, I wanted to get another motorcycle. I thought maybe, hell, I can join a gang. But it wasn't my style. I just wanted to ride more and more, and I thought I could conquer this whole thing. And when I got back, I started to write this book. And that's when I went for the PhD, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
So the PhD came on later in life.
Yeah. Yeah. I had tried to get a PhD when I was in Denver, Colorado, a long time ago. I went for a PhD. And I got to the orals part, and I freaked out. I just freaked out. And I quit. So I just decided I'm going to do this later. And when I got back from the motorcycle trip, I thought, I'm going to go get a PhD. And I decided I'm not even going to do it in the United States. So I started to apply in England and Lancaster. This guy, Dr. Graham Mort, and Dr. Lee Horsley, both loved my idea and thought, that would be a good dissertation. You could write it as a novel and then that was a creative dissertation. And I could do a reflective dissertation. I had to do two. And that was called Uniting the Split Protagonist, because I felt like I had split into two people, the biker chick and then this person who wanted to die. And I wrote about all the different people who were on these kinds of journeys.
So what is that like, going for a PhD in writing when you've spent your entire life writing?
Well, I was writing publicity. That's not writing.
Well, still.
That's right. It was. I mean, the things that I produced were called production notes. And people like Katie Couric, now Savannah Guthrie, they would get these notes. It was about 20 pages about whatever movie I was writing about. And it was hard because I had to get it past the production people at Paramount, and I had to get it past the people at the Today Show and all these people. And yeah, so I wrote for a living. Yes, I did write for a living. I did. What was hard was being out of my country. That was very, very hard. Being away from my family, my sisters, all that. And eating English food was awful. It was. It's true. Their fish. Oh my God. How could they ruin a good piece of salmon? But they do. I took pictures of my plate. It looked like somebody had been sick on a plate and handed it to me. It was awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we understand humor.
Oh,
we've been through a lot, and we overcame a lot of things with humor. So we understand humor.
I understand. Yes.
So you described in your book that someone pulls a gun at you.
Yeah, that was fun.
How was that different from that fear and fear for your life was different from the other fears that you had in your life?
At that point, I wanted to die, so I thought, oh, good. I'll be killed. He says, take off your helmet or I'm going to shoot you. So I took off my helmet, and then there I am, a woman. And he said, oh, you're just a crazy chick. And he took off. And I had said to him, when I took off my helmet, I said, go ahead, shoot me. Because I wanted to be killed. And that way I wouldn't have to die on a motorcycle. I would have no excuse except for, oh, she got murdered on the road. So I was ready to go, and here was my answer.
Was he trying to rob you, or what was the...
He was so angry. I had been a jerk. You know, after a certain point in time on a motorcycle, you become a different person. And I was full of power, and he was in a red Corvette, full of power, and I wanted to take away his power because he passed me, almost cut me off, and I was wobbling on the motorcycle. But when you're in a motorcycle and you're almost cut off, you could fall. And I got pissed, angry. And so I got in front, I sped up, did my 100 miles an hour, and I sped up, got in front of him, and I wouldn't let him pass. I went this way and that way, and I wouldn't let him pass, and he's honking, he's going out of his mind. And he thought I was some motorcycle guy doing something a motorcycle guy might do. But I was a crazy chick. And so he followed me. I looked down at the gas tank, and I had run out of gas. I was very low on gas, and I couldn't do this for much longer. So I took the next exit, and he followed me to the gas station. And he was angry. So he tapped my head with his gun, tapped my helmet with his head. When you're 70, your mind is gone. Anyway, he tapped my helmet. My helmet with his gun, and he said, "Take off your helmet, or I'll shoot you." That's what happened. That's why he was so angry, because I had been a jerk. I deserved it.
And what state was this in?
I think I was just in Pennsylvania. I'd have to look in the book. I've been in Pennsylvania, just outside of Pennsylvania, Virginia.
Still on the East Coast.
Oh yeah, I was nowhere near the West. It was at the early part of my journey when I still wanted to die. Had it been later, I would have, freaked out. But I wasn't scared. I was ready.
This journey feels to me like a dance between healing and escape. How much do you think it was running away, and how much was healing?
At the beginning, it was all running away. All running away. I didn't care about healing. I didn't think I could heal. But like I said, as I got closer and closer to getting back home, I realized I was healing. And it was a beautiful thing when you realize, hey, I do want to live. Because I seriously, I cannot impress upon you anymore. I wanted to die. So I had visions of dying. I at one point I wanted to just go off of a cliff, and I got closer and closer. There's a chapter called The Guardrail, I think it is. But anyway, closer and closer to the guardrail, and I thought I could just lift the bike. I thought I'll lift the bike and just go over the guardrail, and sailing over the guardrail, and see my mom and see my dad and see people who I knew who had died. But it was really just all in my head. I couldn't actually do it. I was afraid to kill myself, because if you don't make it, then you're in an institution. So at that point, maybe I started to feel like I was healing. Maybe at that point, after I thought about lifting the bike over the guardrail. It's hard to know when. Because even when I got back,
it's not a moment in time.
It's a gradual thing. But even when I got back, I still didn't have my mom. I still didn't have my job. I still didn't have my girlfriend. I was still getting older, and I thought, I wasn't completely healed. That's when I started to write the book, which the book healed me. Writing the book that healed me.
Yeah. I wrote my memoir, Alive Again. It's this one right here. And it took a lot of power, and the pain that I had, somehow I feel that now it's in the book, and the book speaks for itself, and it's no longer in me.
I never thought I could feel happiness again. But when I would write a good sentence for this book, I was happy. I mean, seriously, happy. And then when I finished a chapter, I would get up so eager to write, which meant I was eager to get up. It meant I was eager to live. But I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah.
Now I do.
I think writing...
Now I just finished a screenplay of the book, and I got the same feeling. I'm eager to make this life again. But now I'm looking forward to a screenplay getting produced. And I have a producer who's interested. We'll see.
We cannot wait to see the movie. I think it's going to be amazing.
Wouldn't it? I want to see Sandra Bullock play me.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you if you already thought of the actors to play in
Owen
just
Wilson for Shaggy Blonde Dave, and
Bridges,
Jeff Bridges for
the
Rolling Stone.
instructor.
Yeah, Jeff
Oh,
Bridges.
yeah,
For Rolling Stone Dave, because Rolling Stone was a little bit of a stoner,
yeah.
and Blonde Dave for Owen Wilson, because he had this sort of goofiness about him.
Yeah.
If I could get Woody Allen to play the rabbi that I met at the bottom of a huge cross in Groom, Texas, that would be hysterical. And Cher to play every single waitress I met on the road. That would be hysterical. It could be a very, very good movie.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I didn't think I could get a book published, and I did.
Yeah, definitely. Why not? I mean,
I could get back on a motorcycle again and drive across the country at 70. Miracles happen.
Yeah. Why
That's
not?
not a miracle.
Yeah. So for someone listening that feels like their life is just falling apart, but they're not ready to buy a bike, a Harley, to ride cross country, what do you suggest them to do?
Well, something my graduate professor, who I had an affair with, not the PhD, but the master's. I won't say where. One thing she always said was, if you're really so depressed, pretend like you're on a bicycle or in a car, and you're going one direction. Make a turn. Just make a turn and go someplace else. Take an exit. Go someplace else. Don't keep going forward into depression. That's all I could. And for me, it was a motorcycle. But for somebody who's not ready to do a motorcycle, just take a turn. Take a turn.
That's a wonderful way to put it.
Yeah, it's turn the motorcycle, turn the bicycle, turn the car, turn yourself, walk down a different street. That's all.
And now that we're approaching the end, it's that one question that I ask every guest, and that is, besides your responsibilities, what is one activity in your life that makes you feel more alive?
Walking my dogs, watching them run. I take them to the park and they take off, and I feel their spirit. I just feel their spirit when they're off leash, and that's the best thing that I could do for myself. Walk my dogs. I live through my dogs. That's how I was on the motorcycle, taking off. When I'm not on a motorcycle, what I'm going to do, if I can, is I'm going to buy a motorcycle with a sidecar and do it with my dogs. Put little goggles on them.
Yeah.
Would that not be cute?
That would be adorable.
And I'd go across the country with my two little boys. Okay.
Thank you so much, Barbara, for being here with us. We're going to link the book in the description of the video for our listeners to buy your book and read your amazing journey. Our listeners, thank you very much for listening. For more conversations and more guests, please subscribe and follow us.